As it turns out, the girlies are traveling solo this summer. Searches for women solo travel hit a 15-year high this year, according to data published by Google. And I just drove 3 hours up to Ojai for my first solo trip since getting married and moving to LA. It kind of felt like a movie from the 2010s about soul searching and wanderlust. Like most life experiences, I turned to the data to uncover a pattern I'm calling the growth arc. Solo traveling is not new. Women solo traveling is not new. We've obsessed over the whole eat, pray, love journey before. But what I'm loving is that right now seems to be an especially ripe moment in time for women solo traveling. Yoga retreats, art workshops, art residencies. Clearly the pandemic is far behind us and we're all seeking personal growth. Based on data from 2024, women make up 71% of solo travelers and over half of all bookings with adventure travel companies are made by women. There are a few key drivers for this trend. One, financial independence. Obviously, as women are earning more and having increasing financial power, we're able to fund our own travels. Safety is a top concern as always, but with women-focused travel groups and social media sharing insights on solo traveling as a woman, safety and community are easier to find in remote destinations all around the world. Speaking of social media, finding inspiration online is another key motivator here, where women are sharing their travel experiences, their itineraries, their safety concerns on subreddits like r/solofemaletravellers and r/femaletravels, which are the two subreddits that I scraped all of the posts for this video as they related to my own experience solo traveling. Another driver for women is empowerment, and that actually leads me into my motivation for solo traveling. So what led me to taking my own solo trip, you ask? The first day I arrived, I got the chance to sit down and just reflect on that a little bit. My intention for the trip is largely reading and nature. That is something that feels so indulgent and often something that I deprioritize when I'm completely on my own. I started journaling. You know, being in your solitude while traveling brings out all of your internal dialogue. It makes it all feel so clear. You can see your anxieties a lot more clearly. As I was like driving through the winding roads across the mountain to get here, there would be like one car behind me and we'd be kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I'd have these intrusive thoughts that are like, oh, that's definitely like a serial killer. Or, you know, little moments where my mind like goes to the craziest hyperbolic scenario, and it really is a reflection of your anxieties. After that first bit of nerves and discomfort, I woke up early the next morning to the sunrise and everything felt completely different. I felt so at peace seeing the sun come up behind the mountains and just laying in bed, reading and reading and writing. I eventually made breakfast. Something about being away from home makes you pay extra close attention to every little detail and sensation. I took a quick drive over to Bart's Books, which is the world's oldest outdoor bookshop. Just wanted to show you the book that I picked up. It's called Grayson. It's very nostalgic of a story for me. It follows a teenage girl swimming off the coast of Southern California who befriends a baby whale and has to make sure the baby whale makes it back safely to the mother. And I think it's more in the vein of like teens or young adults, which I don't usually read, but something about it feels like something I would have read in my own childhood had I had grown up in Southern California. I feel like I read a lot of Canadian literature similar to this as a kid growing up in Toronto. Walking around Ojai, I've made it a point to just let my intuition guide decision making. It's a big part of why I also picked up this book that I otherwise would not normally have picked up.
The ones over there. Well,
after the bookstore, I spontaneously went on a hike with a few of the other travelers and one of the locals there. Saw a snake, and we ended up swimming in a creek as well. It was freezing. It was a cold plunge, but definitely a pinnacle of the trip. I look really crazy.
and it's my last day. I'm headed out. I'm actually like packing up and taking things to my car now. I feel refreshed and rejuvenated. Before I go, I want to share some fun things. So the 78-year-old local in Ojai who I met at the retreat, he actually gifted me his camera. I don't know what model this is, but it's so cute and kind of nostalgic, and I'm excited to take photos and videos with it and go on adventures with it. I also picked up my book that I talked about earlier. This little mini water fountains, these elephants. I don't know, it reminded me of my mom, so I kind of had to get it. When I came home, I analyzed 2 subreddits, captured all of the posts, and ran a semantic analysis to look specifically at personal growth narratives. I used BGE embeddings, which is a language model that converts text into numbers, mathematical representations of meaning, so that you're no longer comparing just keyword to keyword, but you're comparing concepts. So you're able to capture more. I built 2 sets of seed sentences, one representing fear with things like, I'm so anxious, I'm all alone, I don't think I'll be able to do this myself, I don't have the courage because of anxiety. And another for breakthrough. So we're talking things like, I'm so glad I did this on my own. It ended up being one of the most life-changing trips I've ever been on. So every post in both of those subreddits got scored across both fear and breakthrough. And this is what came back. So what you're looking at here is 8,123 dots, and each dot represents a social media post on Reddit. Fear is scored on the x-axis and breakthrough is on the y-axis, and almost every single dot is hugging that diagonal line, which means that posts that score higher on fear also score higher on breakthrough. They kind of move together. What the data is telling us is that women in these communities almost never write about one without the other also being present. It's also not really a sequence, like fear happens first and then there's a breakthrough. A lot of the posts, they're kind of happening side by side. You'll notice there's a pink zone in the top right. That's where posts are elevated on both fear and breakthrough. They're like in the top percentile. And that is what I'm calling the growth arc zone. There's actually a single post that's an outlier even from the growth arc zone, and it scores the highest across all of the posts on breakthrough at an 85%. And I wanted to pull it and read it because it kind of speaks for itself. How I finally found the courage to travel solo at 54 years.
I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but here we are. I'm Elisa, 54, from Colorado. For years, I've dreamed of traveling solo, but fear always held me back. Fear of getting lost, being unsafe, or just feeling alone. I used to read posts here and admire all the brave women doing it, thinking, that's amazing, but not for me. One day, I came across a travel pack made specifically for women like me who want to travel alone but don't know where to start. It was simple, encouraging, and full of tools that actually helped. There was a guide on how to choose safe destinations, how to feel confident in new places, and even a confidence journal that I filled out every morning. It might sound small, but it changed everything. Last month, I booked my first solo trip to Lisbon. I cried when I landed, but I also smiled the whole way. I felt free, safe, and proud. It's never too late. If anyone's interested in what helped me, I'm happy to share it or talk more. Thanks to this community too, it gave me the push I needed.